All right, I get it. Let's talk about it. So I'm sorry guys that I haven't had any updates for you on Project Sunrise in quite a long time. There is a very good reason for this though, and I do want to go over that with you guys just to update you on the project, where we're at, and where we're going to be moving forward. First of all, as you guys saw by part 1 of this video, which you could find right up here, I was progressing pretty nicely with the build. I got everything in, the blocks were installed, I was starting to run the tubing, and something that I was actually doing off camera was really considering how I wanted to run the loop, doing some test configurations, and then once I had something set up that I kind of liked, I put some liquid in the system and I wanted to test it to make sure that it was all solid, and then I was going to take everything apart and rebuild it for you guys step by step so you saw my process. Well, I ran into a little bit of a problem, and it's something that I've never actually had happen to me before. No, it's not that. This leaked on me. This is the AlphaCool Nexos XP3 Lite, right? Yeah, XP3 Lite. This is the CPU block that I've been using that AlphaCool sent over to me for use in this build. I've never had a block leak on me in any way. Not a CPU block, not a GPU block, not a mono block, not any other block. The only thing that could really happen to a block to make it leak is if the seals inside are bad, if the O-rings are degraded, or if they're misplaced. But I put the system together and I was getting a little bit of a drip from this block going down onto the GPUs. Now luckily I had paper towels situated, as you should when putting a loop together, so it didn't damage anything. But I couldn't figure out where the water was coming from, because obviously the first thing I'm going to look at is the fittings. The fittings are something that unfortunately fail, I guess often is the word. This is the thing that in the system that will fail if something is going to fail. It's going to be the fittings. But it was not the fittings, it was the block. And unfortunately I don't have any video of it, but I did take a couple of pictures and post it up on my social media. It was really a strange thing to see. The leak was actually coming from the back underneath, and it was leaking out from the copper downwards. So I couldn't do anything with this block at all, and it's basically garbage. So what do? I let AlphaCool know, and they were actually great. They said, we're really sorry, let us send you over something else for use in the build, and they sent me this. This is the AlphaCool Ice Block. This is the new XPX CPU cooler that I'm going to be using in Project Sunrise. But there was a little bit of a problem, because this part got held up in Germany in customs for almost a month. Now, I don't exactly know what the process was over there. I don't really know what happened, but all I know is every time I went to go check on the tracking number, it hadn't moved. It was sitting in Germany forever. And I couldn't do anything with the build in that time because I didn't have a block. I couldn't put the loop together, which was the step that I was at in the process. So I was just kind of stuck. I had nowhere to go and nothing else that I could really do until this got here. Then I went to Costa Rica, and when I got back, this was waiting for me. So now we can move on. Now we can work on Project Sunrise. But there's another twist. I did get this the other day, and I was doing some planning in the DG86 case, which I actually really like. But the way the loop was coming together in that case was wrong. I didn't like the way the layout was. I didn't like where everything else was going to have to be as a result of the loop being the way I was configuring it. And to be honest with you, working with that case when water cooling, when you need to move the case around a lot, was pretty difficult because the case is really big. I mean, there's a reason that it's big. It's very full featured. It has a lot of things on it that I've never even seen on another case before, but I needed something that was a little more manageable. So we're going to switch cases, and I want to take you over here. I want to show you what I have on the workbench, and I'm going to show you where we're going to put the system in, and then we're going to get to work on it. All right, so you see that I have everything disassembled here. This is kind of the way I like to work. If I'm ever going to reset a project, or whenever I'm disassembling a project, everything goes back in its retail packaging, and I kind of reset and kind of get my brain right, and then we restart the project. So obviously I still have the GPU blocks on the GPUs, and I still have the CPU installed, and I still have the memory installed. That stuff doesn't need to go anywhere. But we have all the water cooling stuff over here, And, oh, what is this? This is a new radiator. Nope, that's not right. This is a new reservoir. This is going to go in a different location in the new case, and I think it's going to look much better. It's also a satin finish, which is something that's a lot different from what I was going for before. So now we're going to be working with satin tubing as well, which is right here. I have a lot of it. Hopefully we can make some good use of it. But we have everything laid out here, and the new case is right here, and you can't see it. Boom. This is the Corsair Air 740. I originally started to build this project, or originally concepted this project in this case, but I was offered the DG86, and I figured it would be a great case to build in. But I'm going to return to this, and I'm going to see how it goes, and I think from what I've already kind of planned out, it's gonna be a little bit better. So let's get to building in this and see how far we can get today. Alright, so all the major components are in the case. We have the block installed on the CPU. We obviously already had the GPU blocks installed, but the GPUs are in, the motherboard is in, the RAM is in, the cabling is in, which is something I was really debating about, because so this cabling is it could stain. So if I'm handling these a lot while I'm doing the build, is a possibility that I could actually discolor some of the yellow, which obviously I don't want to do, but I needed to put these in because I think that if I didn't, it would be incredibly awkward to do after I ran the tubing. So I'm going to put them in and try to do my best to stay out of their way and not touch them. You can see I actually put in the lighting already. Now I'm only going to have lighting on the bottom here, and hopefully that will become obvious as to why. But these are CableMod wide beam LED strips, and it actually runs the entire circumference of, or the perimeter I suppose is a better word, the entire perimeter of the bottom of the case. And then the reservoir is actually going to go right in the middle, right there on the bottom. So I had to run all the cables down here, all the front I/O cables, all those stuff like that, because if I didn't and I put the reservoir in, I could never have got my hand back there. So that's one of the reasons that I ended up putting all the cabling in, is because I thought the rest of the water cooling components would get in the way. And these cables obviously still need to be trained. So I've put them in place for now. They're not in the position where they're going to stay permanently, but I think for now this looks, my hand, there you go. But I think this looks pretty good, and I'm going to continue working on this as is. I think I already like this better than the way the other case was looking. Just the dimensions are just better. Maybe this case is more meant for water cooling. So let's keep going. Alright, so as you guys can see, I haven't really gotten a whole lot further. I have mounted the top radiator, and I had the front radiator mounted as well, but I realized that there was an issue, and the issue was actually up here. And the problem is, when I have the front radiator and fans mounted, the outlet of this radiator up top is completely blocked. There's no way to access it. So I actually have to make my tubing run for this radiator before I install the front, which is not how I'm used to doing things. Usually I'll install the components, kind of sit there and look at it and try to figure out how I want to do the runs, and then I'll do everything after that. This time I'm actually going to have to do this run first, and this is going to go back down through the case and then out the back and then back in maybe down here. And then I'm going to have to start working on installing the rest of the stuff. Now the problem that I've run into, as I'm going to zoom in up here, you can see that I put a pass-through in here already. The problem is I think I put it in the wrong spot. I think I need to put it maybe where this hole, this pilot hole is right now. I think maybe that should be the point where I put it as opposed to up here. Because as you could probably see, or hopefully see, I had to do a lot of tubing gymnastics in order to get this to work, because I put the pass-through too close to where the outlet of the radiator is, and I had to do like a bendy tube thing up here, even just to get it to work. And that's not really how we want things to happen around here. So I'm gonna have to redo that, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to do it tonight because it's actually already pretty late. But This is Project Sunrise right now, and this is how it's going to stay. This is the configuration we're going to use. Just to give you an idea of how it's going to look. Down here, we're going to put the reservoir. It's going to probably go something like that. And the satin tubing is going to come, well, you know what? Let me back this up a little bit. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to have tubing that's going to run through the back of the case and then out here. So there's going to be, the pump is going to be in the back section of the case behind the motherboard tray. So you're not going to see it at all. What you're going to see is this kind of finish, this satin finish tubing running from the pass-through that's going to be there, which I'm going to drill. It's going to be out to here, and then it's going to go across to here, up here, and here, and then we're going to work out something as far as like how this is going to be routed. But you're going to see the tubing probably running vertically, and then the pass-throughs are going to be here, and you're going to have fans here. So the lighting that's down at the bottom of the case that actually runs the perimeter is going to shine onto the radiator and then illuminate the yellow coolant that's going to be in here. And this is going to be like the sun, and it's rising from the bottom of the case. I know it's not exactly the sun, or it's not going to look exactly like the sun, but conceptually I think this works better than having the radiator, the reservoir up here where it was in the last case. So, I hope you guys found this enjoyable. I wanted to get you guys an update as far as what was happening, and I do apologize for taking so long to do it. This project will continue rapidly now that I have everything in place that I need. The only thing that I really need to get is a couple of more soft tube fittings from AlphaCool, and then actually I will have them in a couple days. So expect the next update a lot sooner than this one came, and then we'll finish this project up, hopefully by the end of the year. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video, get subscribed to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.